and mute.
Okay. Welcome everyone to our February Committee of the Whole meeting. We have full council attendance with us tonight. Thank you, everybody. There is no, as those of you who've been watching a number of our meetings know, our Committee of the Whole meetings are no resolution. They are just for discussion. So we don't have a resolution to open our meeting or close our meetings, and we don't vote or have resolutions on any of the issues we're discussing. It is so that we can have some more discussion on issues before they come up on regular meetings. All right, we have our first item to look at is item 4.4.1, invocation at council meetings. And maybe just the best thing for me to do on this is just to turn this over to Ms. Shaw, as if she doesn't mind, or the CAO, as she was notified and alerted of this problem, and we are making a change because of a concern and issue that was raised. So either Mr. CAO or Mr. Shaw, Ms. Shaw, sorry. Ms. Shaw, thank you.
Thank you, Council. So I'm sure everyone has seen the information report. This came to our attention from a nonprofit group, the Supreme Court has ruled that it is unconstitutional to conduct prayer before council meetings. Of course, our procedures bylaw provides in our regular and planning meetings that we have an invocation. So we have a conflict with what we're doing currently and what we should be doing. So what we would suggest is that council replace the current agenda term invocation with opening remarks. And the opening remarks will reflect the vision and mission developed through the strategic plan that council has worked through. And the procedures bylaw will be updated when we do our regular housekeeping, and we will address this item in the procedures bylaw at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Is there any chance that we could put up our current invocation on the screen if you have that accessible? I could read it, but as I'm reading it, if you could put that up on the screen for everybody to see. Our current invocation, which just to remind everybody, is just something that we carried forward from the last council. I'm not sure if the previous mayor wrote this. I'm not sure the whole background on this, but we've just carried forward this invocation. Please bow your heads for the invocation. Please grant council West St. Paul the wisdom and leadership in guiding our community for the future. We ask for support in fostering an environment that promotes understanding of good governance, respect on the issues that we are undertaking in our roles as municipal leaders. Our goal is to grow and be successful as a community and individuals. Amen. So taking away from the prayer format given the Supreme Court ruling, I will just begin our meetings with opening remarks from the mayor. And as Ms. Shaw mentioned, those are still in draft format, but my comments will reflect similar statements around good governance and our mission statement, as well as maybe some comments about conduct in a similar way that I have opening remarks before public hearings. So those are still in the draft format, but it will be go from a prayer at the beginning to opening comments from the chair. I will go around and see if there are any concerns, questions from council. Councillor Prague, any comments, questions?
No questions, just a comment, and we have to follow what the Supreme Court laid out, and opening remarks would be the proper way to go. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Kleiber?
I think it's easy tweak. Take the first sentence out, take amen out, and say, may the council, and you're done. We don't have to switch this. We can ask support from each other. I mean, this is a very generic invocation. Just take the first part out, the amen out. May the council of West St. Paul have the wisdom and leadership in guiding our community. Done. I don't understand why we have to have opening remarks suddenly or whatever. I don't think it's necessary. Just continue on with this and just tweak it and that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Kleiber. Councillor Bichetti?
I'm good with the mission statement we all came up with. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Link?
I don't care what is said to open the meeting or what is not said. It's not a big issue as far as I'm concerned. But it is an issue that the procedures bylaw does have to be opened again because of section 3.5 not reflecting the majority of council's wishes. 13.5 can stay the way it is because it reflected my wishes, but I have to support council. So that's another reason for opening that bylaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Link. Yeah, I think it's good to have some kind of opening remarks. It's unfortunate because our invocation is not really intended to be prayer-based, but I know that that's how it's interpreted. And I think it's great to start off a meeting talking about those points of good governance and respecting our roles and to start off a meeting positively. So I think we're going to be able to work with what we have in the mission statement and still have an opening that starts off a meeting right. So I think the intent was great of whoever wrote this, and we're going to make sure that we address Supreme Court ruling on an opening prayer. So, all right, we have 4.4.2. We've got the 2021 grant request for Sonova Center rental fees to be waived or reduced. And we have the administrative report attached that we've had an opportunity to look at. I'll just pass it over to our CAO if there's anything else that you're wanting to add to the administrative report.
I don't have much to add. This has been coming to council for a number of years. In 2013 to 2015, it was here, 17 to 19. And in the years 16 and 20, there was a $500 grant. So this is in concert with our seniors luncheons. So they're looking for 2 grants, which are in fact the use of the Sonova Center. It wouldn't be being booked those days, so we're waiving the fees for the rental. We've done that in the past. That's my only comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I will go around the table again. Councillor Kleiber, any questions, concerns regarding the grant applications, waiving the fees? Okay. Thank you. Councillor Bichetti, any questions, comments? Thank you. Councillor Link?
Just one question on the backside of the admin report about the requests for Sonova Center rental fees to be waived or reduced. On the back page, why is there 2 sections? I mean, we don't, do we need, if we're asking to waive them, do we need a reduction in that one for the fire and life safety conference? Why don't we just waive them?
Mr. CEO, I'm going to pass that over to you.
For that, Madam Mayor.
Yep. Or Ms. Shaw, thank you.
These are requests from outside groups, and that is their ask, is they've asked for half the fee to be waived. They could request the full, but this is what they have requested.
Okay, I understand then. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Prague, any questions, concerns over the waiving of the fees? Okay, thank you. So that will come up at our next council meeting. And we have, in a similar way, 4.43, the senior lunches, and the administrative report is attached for that as well. I'll just open that up.
Same situation, Madam Mayor.
Yep, same situation. Our seniors group have lunches usually twice a year, and this has been going on since 2013, where the grant amount is provided to waive the fees Council provides a grant in the amount of $400 in the year 2013, 15, 17, and 19, and that was up to $500 in 2016 and 2020 to be able to hold the senior lunches. And as all of us know, we've all attended their lunches. They're great. They brought anywhere from 60 to 100 seniors together at Sonova Center to talk about local issues, to bring in a guest speaker. So the committee does a wonderful job bringing seniors in our community together, and some from outside the community, to have a luncheon and learn something. We've all had a chance to look at this. I'll just go around the table, see if there's any concerns or questions. Councillor Bichetti, any concerns, questions? No. Okay, thank you. Councillor Kleiber, any questions, concerns? Okay. Councillor Prague and Councillor Link.
Concerns?
Thank you. And again, that'll come forward at the next council meeting. Item 4.4.4, bylaw 2021-4 added to taxes. And again, council has an administrative report that we've had a chance to look at regarding this. I will turn it over to the CEO if you have anything to add to your report.
Yeah, this is a report that at the end of the year that we're allowed to take action if there's outstanding bills. We're allowed to add them to taxes. And this is a case in weeds and utilities. So we come in front of council and get a resolution to do this. Business is normal.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. And I will go around the table. Councillor Link, any questions, concerns?
Well, I just wonder, there's 22 of these 74 utility payments that the arrears are under $5. That's 30% of the arrears are under $5. And I'm wondering if it costs probably more to use the paper, put the request in the mail, put a stamp on the mail all the time, and energy required. I wonder if we're losing out more by insisting on collecting. Some of them are like, one is 3 cents. I don't know. Just wondering.
I think that's a good point. I'll talk to our acting director of finance and see that. Like I say, good point. But I'll see what it means. Via the legislation, and then if we don't collect it or if we don't send it out like this, so what happens and what does that mean to balancing the general ledger and the debits and credits? So, but that's good. I'll inquire for that. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Link. Councillor Bichetti, any questions, concerns?
No, it's just good to see some of the bigger bylaw ones being collected in there. So that's good on us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kleiber, any questions, concerns? Thank you. And Councillor Prague. Great. Thank you. And again, that will come forward at a future council meeting to be voting on. 4.45, bylaw 2021-5, tax cancellation. And the administrative report is again attached for council to review prior to the meeting. Mr. CEO, anything to add on this one for council?
Madam Mayor, no, I don't have anything to add. The report is straightforward, and this is another annual thing that we do every year. This is in the Municipal Act, the authority to cancel in whole or in part taxes owed to the community. What will happen is this will go through either Red River Planning or assessment or through our office, where we have information that is not accurate, and people will say you need to do a correction there. So you can see the reasons for it. I one here that jumps out to me is effective date correction. So that would have been a correction where the assessment department, that's the second one on the Schedule A, the assessment department said the house would have been a new house occupied, say in February, and and the builder comes back and says, no, the house wasn't finished till later date. Things that have happened, you know, removal of single detached garage. The assessment has a detached garage on the roll, and the person phones and goes, I don't have a garage, and those kind of things.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. We'll go around the table again. Councillor Prague, any questions, concerns? Thank you. Councillor Kleiber, any questions, concerns? Okay, thank you. Councillor Bichetti? Thank you. And Councillor Link?
Yes, the very last two listings, Mr. CAO, same roll number, removed basement unfinished in 2019 and $1,000 and some odd dollars, and then in removed basement unfinished in 2020 on the same roll number and a little over $1,000. Did they have two basements to remove?
Councillor Link, good question. No, so what's happened there is someone's seen on their you know, they may have phoned about their assessment. They may have got their assessment and said that's high, and then looked and on their assessment thing it said, hey, you've got a finished basement. They phoned up and said, I don't have a finished basement. I've never had a finished basement. It might be the first time they've noticed it.
Okay.
And you're allowed to go 2 years back. So this is 2 years in a row where they've been getting assessed for a finished basement. Assessor would go down there and say, or they'll send a picture and say, there's no basement there. The basement isn't finished.
Thank you. I didn't know we were allowed to go back 2 years. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Council. All right, we are at item 4.5.1, requests for service reports from July 1st to December 31st, with all attached statistics there. And maybe we'll just address kind of them all. And we've got 4.5.2, the request for service reports, overall overview of the year end, and all of the information there. So we've had an opportunity to look at all of that. I'm just going to turn it over to the CAO if there's anything else that you're wanting to add regarding the reports.
You're on mute, Mr. CAO. Mr. CAO, you are on mute. Mr. CAO?
Guys in a parade there, everyone waving at me. Yep. So the good thing is we've seen most of our requests for services have been closed. We are consistent with just a little bit more than we've had last year. We've analyzed that and we've come to the conclusion that there's more requests for service, but not a lot more, based on people are more informed, people are more likely to fill out their forms. But what we have found that where we have seen an increase is in the bylaws, that it's 57 this year, 53 closed and 4 open. And you know, in regards to bylaw, we have identified that in our strategic plan. And when we do things, they're report-based driven. So that means if people report them, we investigate them. We have had some storage container issues that we've been addressing, but overall, the request for service has been working for us. I commend the staff to following up on the request for service, and just to note to council that you know, we've had a couple of other municipalities that are doing a request for service format very similar to ours. So kudos to especially to Riley, who works on this. It's hard to take requests for services every day and deal with them And usually if we get a request for service, it's like requesting taxes. It's always not a pleasant experience. So council has any specific questions or would have questions that they could ask me offline, I'd be willing to take those. And this request for service report will be coming on Thursday night.
Thank you, Mr. Seo. I will go around the table. Councillor Link, any questions, concerns regarding the statistics presented?
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bichetti, any comments, questions?
No questions. I'm just glad to see it's being, improved and gone over on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kleiber, any questions, concerns?
No, just a compliment to Riley. She always does a great job. And I know I had somebody send me a whole bunch of them and she put them in for me, and just thankful that she's so accommodating.
Thank you. And Councillor Prague.
I just want to compliment Riley also. And I can see that St. Andrews is following what we are doing. And it's nice to see that people are recognizing the good work we do and they want to implement that in their community. So kudos to her.
Thank you. Yeah, great comments. This was something that we started at the beginning of the term after we were elected. And this is Riley's project that started and worked with our CAO to have our own format on this, and it's great. And this is really clear and really reminds us how many complaints are dealt with, how many they receive, and we have a relatively small staff in West St. Paul. And this is great for going forward in terms of directing our resources and helping us make informed decisions at budget time. So when we see that 54% of complaints go to Public Works Department and the number of those that are resolved and what they're dealing with, it really helps us make informed decisions about resources. So this is really great on so many different levels, and really proud of staff. It's great. All right. And again, as our CEO said, that'll be coming forward at a future council meeting here to vote on. 4.5.3 Spring Road restriction policy. The administrative report is attached regarding adding roads to that are new to West St. Paul. And is there anything that you're wanting to add on this, Mr. CAO?
No, Madam Mayor, the report is straightforward. I don't have anything to add. Spring road restrictions are a program that we're in sync with Manitoba infrastructure, and this presents our policy and tells us what roads are on there.
Thank you, Mr. CAO. I'll just go around the table and see if there are any questions. Councillor Bichetti, any questions regarding the proposed additions?
No, it looks pretty well the same as last year with exceptions of new roads. So that's good.
Thank you. Councillor Kleiber, any questions, concerns?
Well, some of the roads that are in my ward are provincial, and people are breaking those road restrictions all the time, and it's very hard to get the province even out there to do anything. So, I mean, they are what they are. I mean, obviously we have to pass this, but I wish we had a little bit more oomph behind some of this for the provincial areas, because I have Grafsmere, Blackdale, Miller. Those are all provincial, and I don't know. I don't know if or when anything is really going to be done about that. I don't know. Maybe the CAO can comment on that. This has been an ongoing thing for years, where people are breaking the road restrictions on those roads, and you can call in and nothing happens. So I don't know. Is there anything that I, as a ward councillor, could do differently in that regard?
Well, I can comment on that. So the problem with road restrictions is, as you all know, is you'll have someone come through breaking the road restriction and they're through the community right away. So, you don't have stationary places where we're watching. We don't have like a station where we're watching and the province is watching. So the only way that it's effective where we can police this, whether it's us or the province, if it's someone's doing it repetitively. So if it's something that they do every day, that's really the only way to get them. Otherwise, they're in the community and they're out of the community. It's hard to police. I think the best way to do it is to put in a request for service if it's repetitive, and then we can monitor. We are able to take pictures, and if someone can take a picture, and we can report it with the license plate or the vehicle. But if it's repetitive, that's something that we can report to MI. And we've had a few fines go out, but it's tough to police. I'll say that.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to pay attention to that because I know that we have some issues with certain areas, with certain places. So if I see a repetitive, then I'll put a request in for service. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a great point to bring up. And last year, I believe there was one where our community service officer did a great job of following up. I think I had submitted on behalf of a resident, I think it was Pipeline, or it might have even been Grassmere, I can't remember the exact street, and submitted a request for service. And they were able to follow the person because it was a trail of dirt. And the loads were too heavy. And so sure enough, our community services officer watched for them to come back, and the province did come out and say, you need to clean this up. And they had to come back and clean up. So I know we have dealt with this, but it is very challenging. Absolutely. All right. We are down to 5.1, Association of Manitoba Municipalities. Oh, sorry. Councillor Link, you had your hand up. Sorry.
Just a quick question. That's okay. I tried to find Hawks Landing on Google, and it must be a new road. Where is it? Does anyone can tell me?
Trails? Is that right?
Hawks Landing?
It's a little piece on the trails where you drive in towards Mr. Kruger's property. It's like 2 houses long. Just a little.
Okay.
It's actually not even on Google. The Google map is wrong on that whole trails area. So.
Okay. And I would just like to add to Mayor Christian's remarks that I went into a subdivision in my area last spring. Same reason, the messy roads. And the provincial guy was in there stopping every truck. It was amazing. And he just followed them in on his own.
Takes a bit of a coordinated effort. If residents let us know, and we can let our community services officer know, and it takes a bit of a coordinated effort, but we have shut it down a bit. Yeah. And sorry, Councillor Prague, before I move on, I had got to Councillor Clyburn, hadn't got to you. Any comments regarding the road restrictions? I apologize for missing you on that one. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Dropping the ball here, giving everybody an opportunity. All right, on the AMM issue, every year the Association of Manitoba Municipalities sends out their president, vice president, and executive director and our interlake reps to come out to the municipalities and have a visit and ask about our issues of concern to bring forward to them and to have a discussion. It won't be in person. This is obviously by Zoom meeting this time, but we've had great discussions in the past. One of the things that's happened in the past is we end up just kind of being on our feet and on the fly having a discussion. And so this has come to the table to discuss as a council to see if there's issues that you are wanting to discuss in advance. And if we can send them some of our concerns and topics for discussion, we'll have a more informed and engaged discussion if they know about some things that we'd like to talk about. And they can be better prepared and we're prepared. So I'll just go around the table and see if there are issues that we're wanting to raise with our directors of the Interlake and then the president, vice president, and executive director. I will start with Councillor Link.
Thank you. Well, I've been reading the news releases from AMM, and they have gone out to other areas and they've listed things that they've discussed there. And I wouldn't mind hearing what they have discussed with some of the other regions, like the provincial government's plan to phase out education property taxes. That's one that's mentioned. Delays associated with approving municipal projects under the Investing in Canada infrastructure program. I don't know if we've had experienced delays or not. Potential provincial changes to service delivery, particularly around road maintenance, seems to be an issue. Need for enhanced communication and adequate compensation for more collaborative relationships. The status of the provincial economic development officer dedicated to rural Manitoba. Any of those, I don't know anything about those issues, but I haven't thought of any of my own.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I took notes, and if Ms. Shaw is taking notes as well, so that we can forward them some things, that's great. Thank you. Councillor Bichetti, any thoughts, ideas for discussion with the AMM reps?
None of my own. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kleiber.
I'm wondering if I can send you something, because I haven't had a chance to really think about it too much, but I can certainly send some things on to you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Yep. Councillor Link, go ahead.
I'm sorry, there was one thing I picked up on when I was reading one of their news releases. There's going to be, I guess, a situation, if we're still in the COVID mode for the June meetings, is how they're going to do the resolutions and how they want that handled.
Okay.
Sorry, forgot.
Yep, that's good. June district meetings. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I will add here, we have been requested to provide this information to AMM tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So that's our deadline for anyone sending in.
No pressure, but by tomorrow morning. Got it. Councillor Kleiber, go ahead.
Help me out then. I don't have time, sorry.
Councillor Prague.
I know the feds and the provincial government, they're all talking about stimulating the economy, throwing money in to stimulate the economy. And I know wastewater is number one with the feds coming into wastewater. And I know AMM lobbies for us for wastewater, FCM and things like that. And that would be a big plus if we could bring this up, because they are going to start stimulate the economy to get it moving because of COVID and it's stuck. So if we can get the ball rolling on this, because we have a lot of wastewater, where you live, where all the councillors live, there's no wastewater there, and if we can lobby for that, for funding, to help out these areas, would be great.
That's great. We've definitely submitted grant applications that we're waiting on. And so to get some follow-up on where the province is on some of that infrastructure grant money, absolutely. Yeah, good points. Ones that I had down, the continued downloading, we're still seeing downloading. The other was the operating fund grants. Those have been on a funding freeze since 2016. So it costs more to operate in municipalities, and it's not increasing with inflation. AMM is lobbying the provincial government. I think it would be great if they could give us an update on it. It's something that all municipalities have a concern about, that putting a freeze on it since 2016 is not helping us. That should be increasing along with cost of living like everything else. So that's one of mine, if they could provide an update on that. Councillor Prague, go ahead.
And another one is they can lobby the province, because when we have wastewater problems, people dumping it into the next door neighbor on the roadways, and they don't come out and inspect these places, and it's continuing, and the councillors all get blamed for this. They are being called all hours, like what the neighbor is doing, and the province don't send out anybody. We don't have any response from them. So our hands are tied getting shit from the people that we're not doing anything. So this is a way AMM is I know the CEO, he talks to the province, but if we have the AMM go after them too, that we can get someplace.
Great point. Absolutely. We've had our challenges with conservation, and we're asking all of these residents to hook up and spend thousands to hook up to the system, and the ones that are dumping into the ditch, we can't get the province out here. So I've marked down talking about conservation and enforcement. Absolutely. Good comments. The other one I have is I'd like an update from AMM on Bill 37. What's their position? How will they be lobbying? What's their concern for the municipalities to ensure our autonomy in planning and land use and economic development going forward? So I'd like to know where they're at based on the changes that have been made from Bill 48 to Bill 37. And does that impact their lobbying efforts at all? If there's any others tonight, tomorrow morning that you guys want to email in, and if Ms. Shaw thinks of anything where it's impacting on an administrative level that they're wanting to add in terms of grant funding to get some information, then we can send that out to them tomorrow. And I really look forward to our February 18th discussion with AMM. So it's February 18th, 11 a.m. They come out and see us by Zoom meeting. And so we get to have a discussion and update on that. So very much looking forward to that. All right, thanks everybody. Great discussion. I'm really, like I said, that's a different format. I'm really glad that they've asked for that and we're doing that instead of just a conversation on the fly. It gives them a chance to prepare. So it's great. All right, we are now going to go in camera. No resolution to move in camera when it's a committee of the whole meeting to discuss legal issues coming up. So we will move in camera. Somebody's letting Brian know that we will be off of YouTube for a few minutes and then we will resume again. Okay. And we'll just wait till we have confirmation. 8 seconds. On live. Thank you for anybody with the patience to wait for us to come out of camera. This will be short and sweet. In-camera discussions were around Dashmish School, preliminary MOU, Dangerous Dog, Winnipeg Metro Region update, and Sonoma Center naming rights. And that is our meeting for this evening. No vote again, as I mentioned, so our meeting for tonight is adjourned. We are back on Thursday night, 6 o'clock, for our regular planning meeting with a number of planning items scheduled for Thursday. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mr. CEO. See you Thursday.
Later.